Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Intuitive Angling here. Hope you guys are having a good day and thanks for taking a little time to watch the video. Today I'm going to talk about early summer jerkbait fishing and give you guys some tips and advice on what to look for. You may not even think it's or know it's a thing. A lot of people equate jerkbait fishing with cold water wintertime, early spring fishing, but I'm going to show you guys and give you guys some examples of how you can catch them specifically this time of year. We're going to be talking a lot about this as the year goes on because you can catch them 12 months out of the year. But the early summertime, guys, is some of my favorite times to fish a jerkbait. So I'm going to tell you that. And if you guys are interested in any of the jerkbaits I'm talking about, Bait Works here in Springfield, Missouri. He's got one of the biggest jerkbait selections of any tackle shop in the United States. I'll include the link in the description. You can get them online here. Great way to help the channel out. You can get you some block of old school jigs while you're online there too. Okay, let's get into this, guys. First of all, the reason I want to start out talking about this, one of the reasons people don't, or it's actually two reasons people don't catch jerkbait fish in the early summer is they're not fishing jerkbaits and they're fishing the wrong type of jerkbaits. Guys, the key to catching bass during the late spring and early summer is you've got to use a big jerkbait. And this is the time of year I go to the big Mega Bass Canada. This is a 7-inch jerkbait. This is going to be the total focus of this video here as far as, you know, when and how to use it. And it doesn't matter. You could also go with a bigger paddle, a big Rogue, like the Perfect 10 Rogue. You got to go to a big jerkbait. That's going to be the big key for catching this time of year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of give you guys an overview of different parts of the country here based upon where you're at. You know, mid part of the country like I am, typical man-made impoundments up north and down south. Okay, first of all, one of the things that you're doing here is when you're talking about catching early summer bass on a jerkbait, you've got to have the right conditions. You've got to have the right set of conditions to get these fish to go to this bait. And in my opinion, you've got to have a lot of wind, a 10 to 20 mile an hour wind is ideal. You need it closer to 20 than to 10. You got to have a lot of wind. And you got to have, some degree of cloud cover. It doesn't have to be, cloudy, but just maybe like a partly cloudy to cloudy sky. Those conditions are critical to getting these bass to bite these jerkbaits, because this is a big bait and it's the fish just don't bite them as readily as a smaller jerkbait. It's a big commitment for a bass to hit a 7-inch long jerkbait. So those conditions that I'm talking about, the high winds and the cloudy, partly cloudy type skies, that's going to give you a little bit of I don't know, a cushion, but it's going to give you a little bit of cover to get those fish a little bit more aggressive on it. So the things that you want to look for, let's talk about man-made impoundments first. Typical man-made impoundment, like back here in Missouri, Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock, or if you're fishing like in Tennessee, Lake Douglas, or Bugs Island, or Lake Norman if you're back east, any type of typical impoundment, the things that you have to look for the catching fish on these big jerkbaits is steep banks and points with wind on it. I prefer a bluff bank, and one of my favorite ways to catch them on a man-made impoundment is I get out on the bluff type banks.
I saw the owl.
You did? Did you see the owl out there?
Come see it. Come see it.
Okay. All right, I gotta go check this owl out. I'll be right back. We got a couple owls that live out in the yard here at the house, and they come out in the daytime. Elijah was showing you the owls there. So anyway, back to the areas in the man-made impoundments. Look for these bluff banks, steep banks, and I like to get on them and make long casts parallel with these bluffs and try to target sort of that, 5 to 15 foot zone out there, depending upon the water clarity. Clearer the water, the deeper I fish on it, dirtier, the closer to the bank. Most of the time, I like at least 3 foot of visibility. Ideally, that 4 to 6 foot range of visibility is where it works best when you got a lot of wind. Also hitting those points with it. Same type of places where these fish are it's sort of a post-spawn migration into their summer patterns. And when you get these conditions like that, these super windy days, these bigger fish, now this is a big fish deal. This isn't like a limit type deal. You catch good ones doing this. Those bigger fish will get on those steep banks and those main lake points that you catch them. And the big key on this, guys, is when you're fishing these big jerkbaits like the Canada, you have got to jerk the heck out of them. You can't, this isn't a type of deal where you twitch, pause. I'm ripping the thing. I'm going boom, 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 like that. I'm not letting it stop. I mean, I'm just jerking the heck out of it. And this is you guys know I use a spinning rod for 99% of my, jerkbait fishing, but this is the one situation where I don't use a spinning rod. A lot of times I use a flipping stick with this. I'll use a 7.5 foot flipping stick with 17 pound Seaguar and Invizix line. And the thing I like about that flipping stick is you can really sweep that rod and you can get this thing to dart and move in a tremendously long direction. You can make a long cast with it, and it just seems like I can just trigger those bites with a flipping stick on it. Okay, now if you're fishing different type of body water, say if you're fishing over in the southern part of the country, like over grass beds, say you're fishing Lake Gunnersville or Sam Rayburn or Florida Lake like that, same type of deal, but except there you want to get over those deeper grass flats, those main lake flats where those fish have moved out to after they get done spawning. Same deal there. Take the jerkbait there, jerk the heck out of it over those deeper grass beds on those windy or cloudy days. Same type of situation. Now up north, this is a great way to catch smallmouth, guys. And I get messages all the time about guys that are catching giant smallmouth on this perch pattern megabass Canada up there. Same deal for the smallmouth. The water's usually clear. I've ripped them at Lake Champlain, Lake St. Clair doing this, all through the Great Lakes. Get out on those main lake flats where those smallmouth are spawning, and you can catch the smallmouth up north on these giant jerkbaits that are in all three phases. You can catch pre-spawn, spawners, and post-spawners at the same time on it, because those smallmouth, they will stage, they will spawn, and they will recuperate after spawning on those main lake flats. And taking these big jerkbaits on those windy days, covering lots of water, is an awesome way to catch them. 3 different colors I like them. If I'm fishing up north, I like the perch pattern simply because those smallmouth feed on perch more. If I'm fishing, you know, this part of the country in the Midwest, I like some type of a thread fin shad pattern. It can be a translucent or solid, but some type of a thread fin shad. And if I'm fishing down south over grass, I like a metallic finish like this Megabass HT Tennessee shad. So these are the 3 primary colors that I fish for them like that. So guys, give it a try, man. This is a big fish technique. It works up until that water temperature starts to hit about 80. Most of the time, we're talking about mid-May to mid-June where this works, and it's a good way to catch giant ones. It really is. So give it a try. It's something a little bit different that you probably haven't been doing. Let me know how it goes, and we'll talk to you guys later.